Yeah. Yeah. What's up? Morning. Good morning. It's a fine Wednesday morning right here. I got a blurry, excuse me, I got a blurry video, so let me check the audio one time. But besides that, it's a fine summertime Wednesday morning. Earlier today morning, welcome to it. Good morning, B. Hannas on the BS with B. Hannas YouTube channel. That's me, Nikki B. Hannas. What's happening? Let me check the audio. YouTube channel. That's me, Nikki B. Hannas. What's happening? All right, cool. So I got audio, blurry video, but an audio. I'll accept that anyway. Yeah, this is my little morning talk show, John. I like to wake up, and the premise of the show, I wake up, I take a nice long walk. I like to do some good reading. Come out here and talk to the people, and then I'll go lift some weights, go to work. It's a good way to start the day. Get things under my control and use my body, use my brain a little bit, do something good, put something good out there, hopefully, because there ain't a lot of good shit out there. Then we go and use my body and then tend to my business. But before I'm a goofball with fucking choppy video on YouTube, I'm a musician. I make music, heavy blues metal. NikkiBHannas.com to check it out. NikkiBHannas.bandcamp.com. Nikki B. Hannas on all streaming services. And that's what's going on, man. So what's up? What's going on out there with everybody? Hopefully everything's good, even though shit is fucked up. People are fucking spiraling when I scroll and look at the news. I like my new position on political matters is general disengagement. Let's just watch and observe. Sit on the fence, if you will. See what happens. It seems to me the only real control I have over any of this shit is what I do, which is a basic thing that we all know. We all know we can only control what's in our immediate vicinity of life. We can't actually do anything about people in suits in Washington or fucking whatever, Capitol Hill. I mean, my fucking state representatives and senators and so on and so forth, they sure don't represent me. They're out posturing and performing and I guess doing their job. So I've had in the past week or so with the wars going on, the amplification of the war, rather, I've had a reassessment in my position generally. So fucking A, here we are, moving onwards. And it's much more compelling, I think, to worry about what I'm doing. I'm very aware after my stream yesterday, talking about what kind of energy I might have put out there into the political siphoning of people's energy, harvesting our loosh, some could say. I'm just trying to pivot. So, fucking A. Shit's all dumb. Fuck these people. But I was out fucking recording some music last night, and that's a good thing, I got to stay productive. I like to stay prolific, and hopefully in the next month or so, I'll have 3 different EPs coming out under Nikki B. Hannas, one of which is going to be called Tell Me Again, which is a heavy fucking blistering instrumental 3-song full band full volume EP. I'll have another acoustic one called Get Up Out My Way, which is one new song and then a couple of versions of some other songs I've written in the past, acoustic versions, much more I don't want to say Delta blues because I'm a white dude from the suburbs, so it's not Delta blues by definition, but it is that low-key fucking kickback Delta blues vibe, hopefully. At least that's where I'm drawing my inspiration from. And then the other one is going to be called Man I Been, which is 4 new songs that I wrote on a resonator guitar with a slide. Experimental shit, different stuff than I'm accustomed to, but that's the name of the game, dude. That's the name of the game. If I want to be a musician, it means I got to write music and record it and release it and play shows and do all that. And that's a constant work in progress, It turns into that. The idea of who you are being the parameter for what you do and vice versa. What I do makes me who I am, and who I am was going to fulfill. So to me, it's like unfulfilling job, even though I don't hate it. I sure don't love it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a working man, dude. We get up and we fucking go to work and handle our bases because rent is always due, both metaphorically and literally. Bills don't pay themselves, so on and so forth. So as I strive for better things in life, let's let my passions and shit fuel me. One of the things I was reading this morning was this is an interesting thing. I was reading Cam Hanes' book, and I'm a big fan of Cam Hanes, extreme bow hunting, hardcore marathon runner, ultra marathon runner, lift, run, and shoot. Keep hammering. Shout out Cameron Haynes. You're a bad motherfucker out here. And I like reading and learning from bad motherfuckers, you know? And one of the section that I'm on is there's a quote that I liked. Said, whatever you're passionate about can elevate your entire life. Now, my immediate thought when I read that is music. Music is what I'm passionate about, performing. And, you know, I like to hold court. If I didn't like to hold court and if I didn't like the sound of my own voice, I wouldn't be on here on YouTube with evidently choppy audio and sunglasses talking shit. My music wouldn't be out there for mass consumption, nor would my opinions and thoughts and talk for mass consumption. Now, whether I whether I have an audience is a different discussion, but for right now, it's out there. NikkiBHannas.com, NikkiBHannas.bandcamp.com, NikkiBHannas on all streaming services, BS with Bhannas on YouTube, Spotify Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, etc. Now, one of the things Cam was talking about, you know, whatever you're passionate about can elevate your entire life. That reminds me immediately of a feeling I started to get when I got sober. Because for a long time, when I'm out rocking and rolling and playing music and playing gigs and recording, whatever, you know, the case of beer, the case of Yingling and a bottle of Jack Daniels was necessary. So was a fat sack of loud. But when I think back to when I was a kid, you know, if I got my first guitar when I was 10, I really started learning it when I was about 12. And by the time I was 13 and 14, getting into fucking metal, that's when I really, really started learning. You know, I mean, I'm in 8th grade, 9th grade, learning Metallica riffs and Lamb of God riffs and Megadeth riffs. I'm going online and researching the shit out of every Megadeth classic era lineup and who played drums on what record, memorizing lyrics, learning about the mythology and folklore and history behind Slayer songs and shit. You know, and I was a kid. I had yet turned. In my family, we talk about the turn, which has happened to young men historically right around 14, 15 years old. They turn bad. Before I turned bad, I was just loving this shit. You know, when I was a kid, both my father and my older brother had said, yo, Nikki, if you put all this energy you're putting into learning, you know, about the history behind Angel of Death by Slayer, why don't you put that energy into math class so you can like do well in school and possibly have a future and do well for yourself? And I'm like, I don't know. This riff is really fucking good though. So I'm going to do this for better or worse. When I was learning, you know, being a kid, learning how to play 11th Hour, Laid to Rest, Hourglass, all these classic Lamb of God songs, 3 Inches of Blood songs by that band called Death. You know, I'm learning this shit as a child and it was fueling, you know, it was a fueling fucking kind of thing. And here we are 15 years later, 16, 17 years later. I've got all the cynicism and woes of an adult in 2025 America. You can put whatever you want into that. It's a good thing, you know, because at least I have this. You know, I've got a vehicle to tell my story. I've got a vehicle to express myself. I've got a vehicle to ideally etch myself into permanence via the arts, if not the sciences. You know, it's a fascinating thing. And I think it's a beautiful thing. It's definitely elevated my life, my whole, for better or worse, you know, my whole social sphere, my identity, my character, my opinions, a lot. It all comes from picking up a fucking guitar when I was a kid, you know. Even when I saw Buddy Guy last week, he made a comment on stage where, you know, a lot of people play the blues differently, but they're fucking writing songs about what they know of life, you know. And that's exactly the ethos I've always subscribed to. So it's a total joy to be able to go out and record music with my friends and have this goal in mind of, okay, once I'm done this, it will be released, it will be recorded, and my discography grows a little longer. And I get my own way a little bit with that, especially doing the acoustic shit, because acoustic's not my wheelhouse. I like it loud, live, raging, fucking unabashed, just ripping feedback, Stratocaster, slaying. But that's just me. Let me check my audio, make sure I'm still good. Slaying. All right, yeah, we're still good. Cool. But it's an interesting thing when I'm recording vocally in a whole different thing. And, you know, I'm not hiding behind loud, voracious fucking rock and roll. And it ties into, you know, like I was saying, when I got sober, I started to re-meet that kid that I was, that got real excited about fucking writing music and about playing music and about having a band and about being a fucking guitar player. My whole life when I was playing in my band for about 9, 10 years. Every show was just a fucking excuse to party, really, ripping shots on stage and fucking drinking beers on stage and shit, just out carousing in the proper sense of the word. And then once I got sober, it was like I felt connected differently. I felt more present. I felt more in control, and I like the looseness. I like the unpredictability and volatility of what I call heavy blues metal, but it's a different thing for me now that I'm fucking straight headed and even keeled to be really just in control and attempt to master my instrument. Because once you fucking create music and you put it out there, it's no longer yours. Now it's the world's. And that's a fascinating thing. So that's what Cam Hanes was talking about. Now, that also ties in with the little excerpt from Don't Sweat the Small Stuff today, the whole topic of which is a lot of people like to argue in favor of their own limitations. And that's a hard thing to break. It has to be chipped away at constantly. That's what I've learned. And again, music is my vehicle to do so. My own limitations where it's like, well, I never learned to play acoustic guitar. I can't really sing very well. And I don't know. It's more intimate. Maybe I don't want that. True. But I'm arguing for my own limitations in that sense. Why not do something different? Why not experiment? Who knows? It's a diversification of my portfolio is how I look at it. And that's a good thing. It's a worthwhile endeavor. Another quote from Cam Hanes in this morning's reading was, to change the world, you must first change the lens through which you see your own. And if I'm limiting myself and seeing my own world through the lens of I am this and this is immovable, this is a fixed position, this is just what I am, and that will never change. This is when we get into that real heady discussion about identities and vibrational thinkings and how we manifest thoughts of our own and the interplay between us and like the spiritual realm that has echoes and reverberations of every fucking thought, Cam Hanes says, to change the world, you must first change the lens through which you see your own. And that's fucking true. And that reminds me of this little excerpt from James Allen's As a Man Thinketh. James Allen says, a man cannot directly choose his circumstances, but he can choose his thoughts, and so indirectly yet surely shape his circumstances. And if I like this thing that I like to conceptualize as heavy blues metal, man, part of that includes fucking playing an acoustic guitar. And when I put it out to the world, some people might listen to it and be like, this is weird. I don't know, Benny, I thought you were like a metal guy. Like, where's the shred? Other people might think it's the fucking coolest thing ever. And I might fucking run on the own hamster wheel in my own mind, which I'm very susceptible to, just getting in these fucking feedback loops, whether good or bad. And then that creates paralysis. And if I'm in a state of paralysis, rather, then I'll never fucking record anything. Nothing will be good enough. Nothing will suffice. Nothing will scratch the itch that I'm hoping to. And I'm just left scratching like a fucking junkie doing nothing. That's no good. So that's what I'm thinking about today. It's an early edition of the BS with Hannas show. So thank you to anybody who's been out here fucking chilling with me this morning. Anyone who listens later on, I appreciate you guys. Even this, this is a great example of that. It's very weird. At this point, I'm almost 30 episodes in. After a couple previous experiments, I guess, with the YouTube, with the podcasting thing, this is the third iteration of the creative endeavor that it is. And this formula seems to work, man. It's a good way to start the day. I know that when I wake up and I take a walk and I got to hurry up and fucking cut that shit short, it diminishes my mood a little bit. When I'm reading and I'm rushing and I'm not able to take the time to digest what I'm consuming, it becomes fucking shallow and like fruitless. And I guess it's better to pursue things, albeit rushed and not in control of it, than it is to just not do it. But I know when I do this, like YouTube fights me all the time. Right now, my video's fighting me. A lot of times my audio's fighting me. I don't know if it's technical on my end. I don't know if it's hardware or software or if it's just YouTube, because I'm doing this shit live. And then once it's live, I add it to the playlist and expo it out to the podcast services. So I'm winging it. That's the nature of fucking the music I like. There's always an element of improv. So I like to keep that in here too. But it's inherently uncomfortable, and the only way to get good at it, let alone make something cool out of it, is to keep fucking doing it. And isn't it funny how we get in our own way? Isn't it funny how we fucking legitimize our own perceived limitations? Something we got to work at, and it's got to be worked at every single motherfucking day. So that's what I think, but here earlier today. That's a win. Whole bunch of things are a win today. Winning so far, trying to win the day every day, best we motherfucking can. So as I get out of here, go about my business. Got some side work this week, so I got to be earlier, but I still got to do this too. We're going to go to my man, Norman Vincent Peale, some positive thinking every day to end the fucking Good Morning Be Hannas podcast this morning. What's today? June 25th? June 25th. My man, Norman Vincent Peale says, never let any mistake cause you to stop believing in yourself. Learn from it and go on. It's almost like what Journey said. Don't stop believing, baby. Don't stop believing, motherfucker. Anyway, I'm going to get up out of here, getting close to the 20-minute mark. Thanks for hanging out with me on this fine Wednesday morning on the BS with Hannas YouTube channel. You can find this live on YouTube, usually in the morning at some time or another. You can find it after the fact on Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast, Amazon Audible. You can find my music, heavy blues metal, some hard fucking rock and roll. NikkiBHannas.com, NikkiBHannas.bandcamp.com, and Nikki B. Hannas on all streaming services. We're going to kick this fucker out of here with the song I Done Wrong. Nikki B. Hannas, I'm out. One love. Peace.